questions did you guys come up with so far? Okay, you haven't seen the discussion section yet. So tell me about what you're thinking. What did you come up with so far? You guys want to share some of your thinking on this problem?
We figured out that the max milliwatts it could be would be 5 because that's all that's legal, and the minimum amount of milliwatts it takes to damage your eye is 30 milliwatts. So we're trying to determine how. I don't know how to explain this. I drew it in a thing. I see it, it's making sense, but I don't know what to say.
You're on the right track. You're on the right track. How about you guys over here? What did you guys talk about? What was known? What do we know? What did you need to learn?
We knew the distance. We knew. I'm sorry. We knew the distance. We knew the. We assumed angle. We assumed no interference. We needed to learn the power of the laser, and we needed to learn how much was necessary to damage the human eye.
Okay, good. How about you guys back here?
We found out how actually the laser will start to spread out after a while.
Okay, good.
And it's
You know what that's called, by the way? Is there a word for that?
Flare?
Divergence. How much the beam diverges. So you start to figure that out? Okay, good. So what I'm going to do now is show you, you guys sound like you're asking the right questions, by the way. Okay, so good. I'm going to show you the next section. This is a discussion section, the brainstorming session that the people who solved this problem went through. And you'll see that they probably asked the same questions as you did. Has anybody looked up the parameter MPE? Okay. MPE is what it's called maximum permissible exposure. Okay. That is the, and I know you guys talked about it over here, so I think you guys did. That's what is considered safe legally, and for a laser pointer, or for a visible laser in general, that's about 2.5 milliwatts per square centimeter. So with that information, okay, what do you need to do to figure out whether the pilot was blinded? If you know that the maximum permissible exposure, the maximum amount of light the eye can handle, is 2.5 milliwatts per square centimeter, what do we need to figure out?
You need to figure out the distance that they gave you in centimeters,
right.
And then the power, take the power of the standard laser and see how much power it could have hit the pilot at that distance.
Exactly. And one of the things that you might want to think about is worst case scenario. Okay, you've got a lot of things happening here. Okay, it's not just the power of the laser striking the airplane. I mean, the plane's moving. Okay, how difficult would it be to hit a moving target? Think about that. You know, what happens when the laser beam strikes the windshield? Is it reflected? Is it transmitted? Somebody thought about, well, what if the windshield is curved? Will it have a focusing effect? All good information to know. Okay, but the first thing you need to figure out is whether there's enough irradiance at the airplane to exceed that maximum exposure. So, good work.
Students work in small groups with the instructor serving as a facilitator. Some students went out into the corridor and actually tried the experiment with a laser pointer.
It couldn't possibly
it's like a
damage his eyeball without
So what is
some
that?
very strange event occurring with
That's
Brainstorming
area.
ideas.
Spread out over this much area.
Oh.
Squared.
I forgot to repeat it.
So 5 divided by this over here.
Is it greater or less than 1.5?
Okay, so you guys solved the problem, right? What we're going to do is we're going to have each group come up to the front and briefly explain the process that you went through in solving the problem and what the result is that you came up with. Once each group has come up to do this, I will show you the solution that in the video, and we'll have a discussion after that about what worked, what didn't, what they did versus what you did, compare and contrast. Good? All right. Who wants to come up first?
Okay, so the plane was 1,500 feet away from the person with the laser pointer, and they wanted to know if it could hit him in the eyes and cause permanent damage.
So we decided that the most important part was finding, based off the hallway study and the information we found on the internet, that the minimum wattage needed to damage the human eye was 2.5 milliwatts per square centimeter. So we took the calculation of 2.5, did you put centimeters? Per 94 feet, which was the hallway. And we cross multiplied it with x over 1,500 feet, and we ended up with, where are we at?
40 centimeters.
40 centimeters,
Which is the
and then we plugged that in to find the area of the beam at 1,500 feet, and that was 400 pi, which equals 1,256.63 centimeters. And after that, we divided 5 milliwatts, which is the standard,
That's the max.
the max for a legal laser pointer, divided by the area, and we got about 0.004 milliwatts per centimeter squared, which is less than the minimum needed to harm the human eye.
Yeah, we said it would be about 4.5 times 10 to the negative third, pretty close to their number there, 0.0039, which is much, much less than 2.5.
So basically the equations bear out that the pilot could not have been physically harmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
One last thing, we did consider the possibility that the windshield could have acted as a focus, but a bit of research on Cessna windshields show that they're in fact flat with edges rather than curved, and so this could really have occurred.
Okay, so you guys presented your solution. Now we're going to see what solution the organization came up with. And you'll be surprised to see that you guys were extremely close with regard to the procedure and the process for solving the problem that the organization did. One thing that you want to keep in mind is that with these real-world problems, there's more than one solution. So there may be several correct solutions, not necessarily the ones that they came up with, but that's the nature of real-world problems. So if we click on the organization solution button, so as you can see, you guys came up with a very similar solution. I think you guys came up with 40 centimeters for diameter. Okay, and that was just pacing out the hallway. They were using red laser, I've got green laser. You guys had green laser also. So you were in the ballpark. So it was pretty comparable. I thought how they tested the solution. What did you think about that? Yeah, would that sound reasonable to you guys?
Yeah. You have the technology needed in the car.
Yeah, that was my car. Across the parking lot, or the green, which was about 1,500 feet. So, what do you think? What did you learn about through all this experience? Don't all jump out at once. What stuck out? Yes.
That harm can be done, just not in the way that the problem was introduced to us. Like if it had been closer range and all this stuff, then it could still have done more harm. But it did prove that the pilot was distracted.
Right.
And there was some minor blurish.
Blur.
So, yeah.
Anybody else? Yep.
That's solve problems. Once we do our own research and stuff, we still have to use the math we learned before to help us back it
Go ahead.
Using the whiteboard things, I feel like we filled it out, but then we kind of got off on techniques and stuff, and then we'd come back. I feel like it really displays the way that most really problem solvers do think, and so it's a really good guide, but I don't know, at the beginning we were really worried about filling everything out,
like as it got going, we kind of just had like 1 or 2 things in each one. And so
But you still filled it out, and it still provided you a roadmap for how to get through the problem. And do you think you could use that process for solving any other problems?
yes.
Is this your first time doing problem-based learning?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it a lot.
You liked it? So there's good things and there's bad things. What were the good things that you liked about this?
I liked that there was a challenge in that we had to work through things. Like we didn't get all the information at once, and we had to say like, well, what was the windshield made of? What factors were there, and could this happen? And
Good. So it forces you to ask a lot of questions. Yes.
I feel like it lets you be more independent too, and like in math I'm always like, well, how does this relate to a real world problem? And this actually like showed how math relates to something that could happen in the real world. So I think it helped me personally like see that the things like you learned before are important to solve real world problems.
Anybody else? You guys look like you have fun. Yes.
It really helped us like work in groups. Like not like we're like don't get along or anything, but one of us would like get going, and then someone else would be like, "Wait, you didn't carry the unit in your math problem." We'd be like, "Oh wait," and we'd just stop and like look at it for like 10 minutes. But it saved us from making a lot of like silly mistakes and having to redo a lot because we catch each other.
Great example. Anybody else? Maggie,
Me?
what'd you think?
I thought it was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
That's how you've taken like the bull by the horns. And, you know.
Yeah, I liked how we could like work with our group. We all had different ideas on how to get to the answers. So we could try them all out.
my team, we did look on the internet,
Yeah.
and we found a chart, and we did find out from the beginning that it was gonna be glare, but then we had to work from what we learned and say, okay, now that we know that probably did not hurt him severely, like how do we get there, basically?
Prove it.
Like, yeah, proving
Okay.
it.
Well, that's good.
Ready to turn your classroom into a problem-solving workshop? Please visit www.pblprojects.org to access the New England Board of Higher Education's library of authentic real-world challenges.